What's up, your boy Superman? Today I want to talk about international schools in Japan versus public schools. Okay, this is the second time I made this video. The first time YouTube didn't like it, so I'm just doing it over. Anyways, I like to start with saying that first of all, Japan educationally is in the top 10 rankings. So regardless of whatever you choose, public or private, you're gonna have a good education for your child if you're already living in Japan. There's no doubt about that. Anyways, let's start with international. We're gonna start with the pros, okay? First of all, this is just my opinion, what I've seen, what I've heard from other people, because teachers talk. There's more than likely going to be less bullying. I'm not saying there's not going to be any bullying, but at least less bullying from, I would say, Japanese kids, because international schools have less Japanese kids, right? I'm not saying Japanese kids are the only ones that bully, but when you're in a school and you're like a hafu means like half something and half Japanese, you are twice as likely to be targeted. So if you're in an international school with other hafus, meaning the culture itself is mainly hafus, and maybe like the minority is Japanese, your kid's less likely to be bullied, very simply. Where in the public school, it's the opposite. Okay, so less bullying in the school. Okay, next one is obviously more English. It's international school, so everything will be taught in English, math, the curriculum, and depending on the curriculum, you actually might be certified for a different country. Like, say it's a Canadian international school, you'd be certified in Canada. So, like your kid, if they move to Canada, you all of what they've learned would count towards Canadian credits or American credits or so forth, which is definitely benefit. So when they want to transition to a different country, they're already set up to do it, right? Okay. What else is good about it? Of course, they can, as I say it, I mean, people might take this wrong, but they can be with their own kind, I guess, in a way, because the majority of Japanese call them hafus, which I feel like when you rename a whole different person just based on, say, their looks or the fact that they're not 100% Japanese, you pretty much made them a whole different, ethnicity, race, whatever. You're indirectly saying you are not a part of us, kind of, sort of. So they can be amongst each other and feel comfortable, even though, like, I believe they would feel very comfortable with anyone. Kids are not born prejudiced or racist. I just feel like the world around you kind of makes you that way. So, anyways, let's move on to the cons of international school. The cons of international school is it costs a lot, ranging from 600 to 2,000 a month. Another con is timing. Public schools, they have after school programs plus sports and stuff like that, which is very useful for people that are working. Where these international schools, they have the same thing, but they're going to charge you for all of it. Also, they're going to charge you for feeding the kid lunch and stuff. Where you go to public schools, everything's completely free. Okay, the next one. Not all international schools are equal or even good. So you got to do your research, talk to friends, do your best to try to get to know the schools in your area so you're not getting taken, because they do like money, and they will say anything to get that money. No joke. They don't call Japan English Inc. for nothing. Okay? Okay, next one. This is kind of a con. And this has been a very me and my wife talk about this one a lot, because my daughter lives in Japan, right? When you're in an international school, depending on the school, they might teach Japanese less than your average public school, meaning like they're going to be behind, right? So some international schools will actually, if you pay more, it's always if you pay more with them, they will add Japanese on top of it. So you have that option. But like I said, if they don't offer such an option, they're gonna know English and stuff like that, and they'll know basic Japanese because they're probably talking Japanese to parents at home and friends and stuff like that. But they might lack in Japanese, like compared to their actual peers in Japan, such as kanji, and that's pretty basic in shogaku elementary age. So that could be a negative. So you gotta really decide what is more important because Japan is internationalizing, meaning English is very important. However, if you live in Japan, Japanese is also equally important, especially currently and now. Okay, let's move on to public schools. Let's go with pros. Okay, the first one, it's free. It's completely, well, it's not completely free, but it's free, right? I mean, you don't have to pay for lunch. It's taxes and stuff like that. And yeah, so overall, it's free pretty much. You just, depending on the school, might have to pay for the uniform or something like that. And the backpack. The backpacks for Japanese, they're really expensive. I mean, they last forever. They're hard leather, they're beautiful. You can get all these designs, but $350 for like a Hello Kitty backpack. It's amazingly expensive, but at the same time, they're very durable. So, but I think that's probably one of the biggest expenses you're gonna have at the public school. Besides any other activities you do outside of that. Okay, the next pro would be Japanese. It's a Japanese curriculum. I can't talk. It's taught in all Japanese. So of course your kid's Japanese is going to improve more and more kanji. So they're going to be able to, do very well in Japan, at least currently. Nobody really knows what's going to happen in the next 20 years. But yeah, they're going to learn all the kanji they need to learn, maybe beyond, depending on your kid as a student and stuff like that. So, which is very necessary in Japan. And again, it's free. It's not, some extra lesson on the side like international schools where you have to pay extra. Okay, the third one. I have a few buddies that went the public route, and their kids are on top of the world. Let's say it like that. My buddy, he's from the UK. He's been married to his wife for 20 years. He's mixed descent, African and European. Anyways, his son, I think currently is like about 14, is president of his class. He's number one in the whole school in English. That kind of makes sense. His dad's an English teacher. And he has many friends. He's liked very well, never picked on. And he's one of the top students. Yeah, so kids can excel. I have another buddy that actually I currently met like a few months ago through another buddy who has a daughter who is well liked and does very well in school. These are all public. They went to public schools. So, yeah. So I'm not trying to sit here and be negative to public schools. You just got to pick and choose wisely. For me, for example, next year I'm putting my daughter in a public school. This public school in particular has over 25 Hafu, kids. So we're hoping that she can make more friends, and we're hoping this school will be friendly. No parent wants problems. I don't want problems. I don't want to come to the teacher and be like, hey, look, why is my daughter crying or being picked on or not talking? Or why does my daughter not have friends? I don't want to ask any of these questions. I want my daughter to like be unhappy because she's not at school because school is so awesome. That's exactly what I want. Anyways, let's move on to the last one. Actually, that was the last one. Anyways, so let me talk a little bit longer about public schools because I've actually I've taught at public schools as an ALT, and I've also taught at private, after school cares, Eikaiwa type of style schools too. Um, First of all, in the Eikaiwa one, we're starting the international slash Eikaiwa. Those type of schools, they don't really care if your kids learn English or not. I can't say this for sure for any international schools. I know of some that don't care, but majority of private schools in that sector, they don't care that much. And the reason why is this: they want your money. If your kids learn very quickly and learn very fast, and they learn English within those 2 years, companies are not going to continuously make money. It is in their best interest for your kids to not learn English because you will keep on paying. They know you'll switch school to another school to another school. And even if you switch schools, half these schools might be owned by the same group of people. You don't even know. So that's the negative point about international schools. I've worked for one. I was a teacher. I was teaching 25 students, and one English teacher cannot teach 25 students perfect English. I just don't think it's really possible. Anyways, public school, ALT. I was doing like 3 different schools. When I went to school, I usually did like up to 3 to 4 classes a day. But these kids are only meeting a foreign teacher 1 hour a week. That's all, 1 hour of real English per week. And half the time it wasn't even real English. It's dictated and up to the teacher. Okay. So like, if teacher wants me to play a tape recorder, meaning she's into translation, which is really boring. She writes whatever is in the book on the board, translates it all into Japanese, and then points to you and says, you know, say this or that. Like, say ship, and you're like, ship. Say pizza, and they're like, pizza. And that's all. Then class is over, and they're like, bye. So doesn't teach much. You can do that with the CD player. So some teachers really, really just don't let the foreigners do much. So the kids are not really benefiting. And that's in public schools, ALT and stuff. So they don't have enough time with foreign teachers and all that stuff. Anyways, I'm done with this. I will leave the decision up to you. I already kind of told you where I'm headed. I'm gonna give the public school a chance because I have friends that have kids in public school in Japan. They're highly successful, so I do believe there's a chance that my kid has a chance too. If that does not go too well at all, I will opt for international school. Truth be told, if it was up to me, I would opt for it from the start. I would just put my daughter straight into international school because I just want her to feel comfortable, and I also want her to make friends very quickly without any problems. We already put her in Saturday international school, and she loved it. The school she's at now, it's not even really a school, it's a daycare with all Japanese. She complains every other day, like honestly, and she barely has any friends. So yeah. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Peace. I will see you next time. If you have any ideas or comments from your own experiences, go ahead and comment below. Thumbs ups always helps the pass this video around. I'm just trying to inform people about educational systems in Japan, stuff like that. Later.